let's say you have been assigned a task to build a multi-agent and you are completely new to any kind of agentic framework. Like one of the framework is this Google ADK. Now, if you want to get started with this particular framework, then you have to go through the documentations, and there are a lot of concepts that you need to go through before actually you can build something concrete. What if you can use AI to build your agents without you going through all this documentation step by step? That will definitely save you a lot of time, and you would be get started with any kind of framework or SDK very quickly. So that's what actually we are going to cover in this particular video. Let's see actually how we can get started with that. So the base of passing any kind of documentation to our LLM model is going to be this llm.txt file. And what you need to do, like if you are just going to get started with any kind of agentic framework or any kind of SDK, so you need to look for this particular llm.txt file. So this particular llm.txt file, we do have it for agent development kit. Let's say if you just getting started with OpenAI SDK and you don't know actually what kind of features are over here and how you can get started with that. So first thing what we have to do is just search for OpenAI llm.txt. And in this case also you can see there is a llm.txt and then there is a llm full.txt. Now if you just click on this one, this will also give you this llm.txt which is related to this OpenAI docs. Now this llm.txt is going to be our base because this is something which we can directly pass to our LLM model. These are very plain markdown file which is going to have indexing of all the important concept of this particular doc. So let's say in for ADK we do have get started thing over here, then we do have a link for that. So for each and everything you can see that the corresponding markdown file has been pointed here. So LLM can go over here, like based on the query, it can decide, okay, which particular thing is going to be probably helpful, and then it can navigate to that particular section by using the given URL. So this is going to be a plain index file. There is a reason to make it plain because whenever we are going to pass all this, it is going to consume certain context window of your LLM. So the idea was just to make it very plain instead of putting it into any kind of fancier format like HTML or so, because then actually it is going to consume more number of tokens. So just to take a look, you can just copy paste everything over here, and then I have this token counter open, and if I pass like whole llm.txt file and calculate the token, then you can see like the token count is very less. It's just about 3k, whereas most of the LLM model which are coming nowadays, they are having like 1 million of context windows. So this is going to just take a fraction of it. But as you can see, like in this file, it is not going to have all the concept as such in this one. It's basically the indexing of the concept, what is there in the documentation. But there is another version of file over here, which is going to be this llm full.txt. In this one, you will have all the details. So you can clearly see the difference between this one and the llm.txt, where we do have concept, and the concept has explained as well. It is going to be a bigger file, and there is a reason like people are not actually just directly passing this llm full.txt into the model, because if I just take this one again and go over there in our token counter and just paste it here and calculate it, then you can see it's around 586k. So the most of the context window is already gone, because here we are dealing with the 586k context window. So if you have to pass something to LLM model, it's always advisable to go ahead with llms.txt instead of passing llm full.txt. Now let's see actually how we can pass this to our LLM model. So one option would be where you can just copy paste everything, put it into a file and just upload this file. But all the editors are having the agentic capabilities now, so we can also directly pass this link. And you can put it like in any kind of editor. So you can either use Claude or VS Code or Codex or anything you are trying to use. So I can just go into the Claude and I can just pass this link, and I can just say, please refer this link and help me build a demo agent. So I can just go over here and I can just click this. Now you can see that it can fetch that documentation, and it's already fetching the documentation, and it's saying like, now let me fetch the Python quick start guide to get the actual code pattern. Now it has navigating to this index.md, then it's going to multi-tool agent index.md. So you can see like based on the indexing what has been provided over there, the agents are capable enough to navigate to those particular sections based on the input what we are trying to pass. And now it's saying it's creating the main agent.py with multiple tools, weather, time, and unit converter. Now, because I'm using this Opus 4.6 model, so it has been doing a lot of things on its own. So it has just created everything, package it up in the zip format, and also it's giving me like this kind of workflow where it's saying how actually it has just put everything in this particular case. And based on the documentation, it has given me all the steps like the current time, get weather, convert units, and how we can run this particular code. So everything like it has been given over here, and it is going to be very helpful if you're just going to get started. I can also just open the Explorer, go over here. We can see like all the files have been created. So I can just go ahead and open it in the Visual Studio Code. I can just put the directory and I can see the whole code. So let's imagine actually you're just getting started with this agentic framework and the whole code has been, written for you based on the documentations. So LLM is not going to hallucinate because you are passing the actual documentation, and based on that only actually it's going to follow each and everything correctly. So in this case, you can see like it has just put all the mocked up data and just see that like how it is calling the agent, the description instructions, and how it is passing the tools. It is actually the correct way to do it. And I don't even need to remember like how to import a package, what exactly I need to pass over here. Everything was done by its own. And after that, it has given me the steps also actually how I can run this particular code as well. So that's how you can pass your llm.txt file and it can do all this magic for you. Now the other option would be like instead of passing this file every time, all these frameworks are now creating MCP server on top of this txt file. So rather than actually passing this file, you can just enable the server and then you can utilize that server. You don't have to pass a file or a link like every time to your agent. You can just enable it as MCP server and then it will have access to the updated documentation. How you can do that? So in Claude, you just need to set up an MCP server. So you just go to settings and then you go to developer, and here you can see like I have already set it up and it's running. What you need to do is go to this config file. I do have like few of the MCP servers set it up. So for the documentation, you can see like I have just passed this kind of command. If you have a URL of your llm.txt, then you can use the same template to pass that URL. You can see that I have one of the doc which has been exposed as MCP server, which is of Google ADK. And we do have a command like this, argument like this. We just have to pass a URL. This would help you to fetch the documentation. Other documentation what I have is a fast MCP, and this is also on the similar guideline. Same command, same argument, only the URL is going to be different. If I show you the fast MCP document as well, so this is the fast MCP document, and if you go over here on the welcome one, if you want to access the document, then they had given this particular URL. So I have just taken this URL and I just put it over here so that I don't need to go through all the documentation over there. I can just query and get the information here only, like without navigating all those documentation manually. So this is give you an idea, like if you are working with any kind of documentation or framework, what you need to do is just try to see whether they have the llm.txt file. In most of the cases they will have it. If they have it, then you can expose it an MCP server, and then actually you will have the information to up-to-date documentation on which you can build on. Once you add it, you can restart your Claude and then you will have this particular server running. And now actually you just have to go in the chat. I just want to make sure like my MCP server is up and running, and this is how we can check it in the Claude. So I do have this ADK docs MCP running. So I can just go ahead and pass a very vague requirement. I would like to build a multi-agent application using Google ADK framework. It should have a sequential workflow. Please create a demo agent for the same. And I'm just going to submit it. It's already fetching the document using this ADK docs MCP and utilizing that to build our agent. Here you can see like it has already fetched the docs to gather the information, and now actually it is just going ahead and trying to create this particular agent. And it has identified a blog post pipeline that research a topic, writes a draft, and edit and polishes it. Because we haven't given any requirement as such, so it has come up with this particular requirement, and it is identifying the up-to-date guidelines based on the given MCP server, and it is writing the code accordingly. So the Claude is creating the architecture diagram for the same. So we are going to have the sequential agent, then research agent, writer and editor agent. and this is going to publish a blog post. And as you can see over here, I specifically asked for the sequential agents. I don't need to know like how to import the sequential agent package and how to actually pass our model and all those things. Here it has used the output key as well, because this is a sequential workflow, so the output from one agent should pass to another agent. You know, it has already identified, okay, how we can do all this thing, and it is just based on the documentation. So you can see at the bottom, it is now actually setting up all the sequential agent pipeline, and we are able to get the response as well. Again, you know, it has given like what exactly we need to do. So we have to add our Gemini API key, we have to install certain packages, and then we can run it using, you know, this kind of command. So I can again open it in the Visual Studio Code and try to just run this. Same thing actually we can achieve in the Visual Studio Code as well. This is not just for, you know, generating a code. Now if you want to know like some new concept around it, to if you're not able to understand something, then also actually we can use this MCP server to understand that concept. So let me just ask, what is new features introduced in ADK recently? It is just trying to, you know, fetch the information for us. So you can explain your scenario and then, you know, ask question like what exactly we need to do, or what should be our architecture flow in a specific framework, and it can help you to navigate all those blockers. So it's totally up to you how you want to utilize it, but this is going to be very helpful in your programming as well as understanding any kind of concept you are struggling with. Now you can see like in this case, it has just given me all the updates. So I would highly recommend just to try this out. But for now, that's all what we have in this video. Thank you for watching.